The best player that the New York Islanders ever drafted was Travis Hamonic, because he basically acted as the token that allowed the New York Islanders to possess such a fantastic prospect pool going forward. And as a result, I have the utmost confidence that John Tavares is going to come back. I've been saying this for a long time. I think John Tavares is not going anywhere. But because of the most recent NHL entry draft that has just transpired, I believe that my claims have been reinforced to the greatest degree possible. The New York Islanders have not necessarily had the best prospect pool in the past few years. They've had a few really good guys coming up. Ryan Pulock was supposed to be a fantastic player. Ho-Sang was supposed to be a great player as well. And the guys like Strome and Reinhart were supposed to be really freaking good. Same thing with Nino Niederreiter. Other than John Tavares, none of these guys necessarily panned out truly to their biggest potentials, but you could totally give the argument for Beauvillier and Ho-Sang that they're still young. Yes, okay. But take a look at the guys that are still on the team. Who exactly do the Islanders have that's young? Alright, Barzal, yes, he's amazing. Barzal Calder winner, fantastic talent. Beauvillier, as I mentioned, he's still on the team. Ho-Sang is on the team too, probably in a fourth, third-line role over there. He's a guy playing as the fourth-line center. Still an NHL spot for him. And then for defense, you got Ryan Pulock, as I talked about. Adam Pelech is also a guy who's over there as well. And other than that, that's basically it. You can talk about Dal Coll too, but Dal Coll is Dal Coll. Other than that, the New York Islanders have not been in the position to say that they have been necessarily a good team. They've been a great offensive team, but not necessarily a good team, in that their defensive stats are very, very poor, and they have been poor for the past few years. Goaltending and defense have not been the strengths of the Islanders thus far, and as a result, the Islanders definitely need to fix that. So what exactly have they been doing over the past few years in order to reinforce their defensive core? Well, first off, they drafted Robin Salo in the 2017 NHL entry draft, second round pick, 46th overall. He looks like he's going to be one of the better Finnish defensemen coming out of the 2017 draft. Aside from, of course, Miro Heiskanen. They also grabbed themselves Sebastian Aho in the 5th round of last year. Not the Carolina Hurricanes Aho, not a Finnish Aho, but a Swedish Aho playing out of the Skellefteå AIK in the Swedish Hockey League. He actually played this most recent season and grabbed himself 4 points in 22 games for the Islanders. So, that's great, isn't it? The Islanders are finding ways to boost their defensive prospects, and they still got a few more good forwards in the pipeline. Kieffer Bellows, to be exact. He is an absolute monster. World Juniors All-Star Team player right there. He's totally a great American talent. Sorokin is a guy that they drafted in 2014, and he looks like he's going to be a pretty solid goaltender if he develops in the right way. So what exactly did the Islanders do in the 2018 draft to help their team even more? Well, they just started things out by drafting Oliver Wahlstrom, Noah Dobson, and Bode Wilde. That's crazy. Just take a look at everything the Islanders have needed this past season, and you take a look at this draft, and this solves that. Noah Dobson is arguably the second best defenseman of the draft. I don't think so, I think that's Quinn Hughes, but Noah Dobson is arguably the second best, and Bode Wilde was supposed to be a first-round talent in the eyes of many. He went in the second round, 41st overall, when he very easily could have gone in the top 15, the top 20, or the top 25. A lot of people were surprised at some of the defensemen that were dropping down in the rankings, and that's understandable, but Bode Wilde was one of those that was taken by the Islanders, a stacked Islanders team with John Tavares, Barzal, Beauvillier, Anders Lee, Josh Bailey, and now prospects coming into the system even more. Imagine, Kieffer Bellows makes the team next year. What if Oliver Wahlstrom makes the team next year? Noah Dobson and Robin Salo are on the team in 3 years total, and all of a sudden their defensive core is stacked with younger guys. Pulock, Dobson, Salo, Wilde, Pelech, Quenneville. And then your forward core, Mathew Barzal, Kieffer Bellows, Oliver Wahlstrom. Then John Tavares, of course, if he stays, which I believe he will. Beauvillier, Anders Lee, Bailey, Eberle, Andrew Ladd, if he stays. I don't know if that's going to happen, but The Islanders, in my opinion, were total winners in this year's NHL entry draft, and I think that they had one of the strongest showings and one of the most beneficial showings on the draft floor for their own team. And let's face it, Oliver Wahlstrom was projected to be a top 7 talent. Noah Dobson was projected to be a top 6 talent. The Islanders snagged him up at 11 and 12. That's incredible. It was such a blessing to many of these NHL teams, the fact that Jesperi Kotkaniemi went 5, Philip Zadina dropped because of Barrett freaking Hayton, Boqvist and Hughes sort of rose up because nobody really expected Boqvist to go 8th anymore, even though at the beginning of, last year, he was supposed to be, the 3rd best talent. Then you got Vitaly Kravtsov, who probably deserves to be drafted 9th overall, but nobody really expected him to be drafted 9th overall. Things were really a crapshoot in this year's draft, and nobody got it right. Absolutely. Nobody was able to guess what happened. And because of this, a few decisions led to another, and all of a sudden, the Islanders, with a stacked Calder winner Barzal, playing alongside of Tavares and Anders Lee and all that on the power play, they grabbed themselves the best sniper in the draft, and arguably the 2nd best defender in the draft as well. And not to mention Bode Wilde, too. So the New York Islanders, in conclusion, total winners in this draft. They are probably the best team in this draft, other than the Detroit Red Wings, in my opinion, but it's just so scary to think about it. Barzal was already unstoppable with the players that he had around him. Lou Lamoriello was able to add a little bit more greatness to the ones around him. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you were plus, that's your show, like, saying gaming, and bye.